The sterile hum of the hospital corridor seemed to pulse with unspoken secrets as Finn Finnegan stormed into the small consultation room where his adoptive mother, Lee, sat poring over a stack of patient charts. His face was a mask of barely contained fury, his blue scrubs rumpled from hours of tense vigilance at Luna's bedside. "How could you, Lee? How could you lie to everyone, to me, to Poppy, to the entire damn family, that Luna was dead? She's alive, right here under this roof, and you've been playing God with her fate like it's some twisted experiment." Finn's voice cracked, echoing off the white walls, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. Lee looked up slowly, her expression a mix of defiance and regret, her dark hair pulled back severely as if to armor herself against the storm she knew was coming. "Finn, sit down. You don't understand the pressure I was under. Luna, she was a ticking bomb after everything she did, the manipulations, the betrayals, the way she tore through lives like a hurricane. I thought hiding her, giving her a chance to start over in secret, was mercy. Not murder." Finn paced, his sneakers squeaking against the linoleum floor, shaking his head in disbelief. "Mercy? You call deceiving your own son mercy? Steffy's been grieving a ghost that isn't even real, and Poppy, God, Poppy's been carrying that guilt like a lead weight. You had no right." The door creaked open then, and Poppy Nozawa slipped in, her silk blouse slightly askew from rushing through the halls, her eyes wide with the instinctive worry of a mother who sensed disaster before it struck. She froze at the sight of them, the air thick with tension, her perfume, a faint jasmine scent, clashing with the antiseptic bite of the room. "What's going on? Finn, your face, it's like you've seen a ghost. Lee, talk to me. Is it about the tests? The babies?" Finn turned to her, his resolve crumbling for a split second under the weight of what he had to say, his voice softening to a whisper that carried the force of thunder. "Poppy, it's Luna. She's not dead. Lee faked it all. Your daughter's alive." Poppy's hand flew to her mouth, her manicured nails digging into her cheek as color drained from her face, leaving her olive skin ashen. For a long, suspended moment, the room held its breath, the only sound the distant beep of monitors from the ward beyond. Then, something fractured in Poppy's eyes, a wild, unbridled fury that twisted her features into something unrecognizable, her lips curling back in a snarl that belied the elegant woman she usually projected. "Alive? That little bitch is alive." The words exploded from her like venom, sharp and unfiltered, hanging in the air like smoke from a gunshot. Finn recoiled as if slapped, his eyes widening in horror. "Poppy, what the hell? That's your daughter you're talking about." Lee rose from her chair scraping harshly against the floor, her voice a low hiss of accusation. "See? This is why I did it, Finn. Poppy's always hated her, resented her for the chaos she brought into our lives. Luna's a monster, and her mother's no better." Poppy whirled on her sister, advancing with the ferocity of a cornered animal, her finger jabbing the air between them. "Don't you dare lecture me, Lee. You think you're so high and mighty, playing savior in your white coat, but you created this mess. You let that girl run wild, drugging people, lying, destroying everything she touched, and now she's pregnant. With Will Spencer's child, no less. After she assaulted him, after she lied about everything. I buried her in my heart months ago, told myself it was a mercy when you said she died in recovery. And now you rip that piece away. I hope she rots for what she's done to me, to us." Tears streamed down Poppy's face now, not of sorrow but rage, her body shaking as she collapsed against the wall, sliding down until she sat on the cold floor, her designer heels splayed awkwardly. Finn knelt beside her, torn between comforting the woman who'd raised him and condemning the venom spilling from her lips. "Poppy, please. Luna's troubled, yeah, but she's family. We can fix this, get her help. The baby's innocent in all this." But Poppy shoved him away, her laugh bitter and hollow, echoing unnaturally in the confined space. Fix it. There's no fixing what that girl is. She came into this world screaming chaos, and I've spent every day since wishing I'd never given birth to her. Lee, you should have let her die, saved us all the headache. Now she's back, slithering out of the shadows, and God help anyone who gets in her way. Lee crossed her arms, her face hardening into the stern lines of a woman who'd long ago learned to compartmentalize family fractures. You're unbelievable, Poppy. I lied to protect you from this exact ugliness in yourself. Luna's alive because I believed in redemption, something you clearly never did for her. And now, the DNA's confirmed, Will's the father. Luna's facing arrest the second she stabilizes, but this child, it's going to tie us all in knots we can't untangle. The weight of that truth settled over them like a shroud, Finn rubbing his temples as visions of Steffi's return from her trip flashed in his mind, the shock she'd feel, the accusations that would fly. We have to tell everyone. No more secrets. But Poppy, hating her this much. It's poisoning you. Poppy lifted her head, her eyes gleaming with a manic intensity, wiping her tears with the back of her hand, smearing mascara in dark streaks. Poison. Try living with the shame, Finn. Every time she schemed her way into Forrester, into Spencer lives, I saw my failures staring back. Alive? Fine. But don't expect me to play the doting mom. She's on her own, again. As the door swung shut behind Poppy's stormy exit, the corridor outside buzzed with the oblivious rhythm of nurses and visitors, but inside, the fractures deepened, a family on the brink of implosion. Meanwhile, across town at the gleaming towers of Forrester Creations, the air hummed with a different kind of electricity, one of ambition and fresh starts, as Deke Sharpe smoothed the lapels of his tailored jacket, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He'd slipped his portfolio into the anonymous stack the night before, a clandestine act born of desperation and dreams, his sketches of bold, ethereal gowns whispering promises of innovation for hope for the future's revival. Now, standing in the opulent lobby with its floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Los Angeles skyline, Deke felt like an intruder in a world of Logans and Forresters, his easy smile belying the nerves twisting in his gut. Hope Logan swept in then, her blonde hair cascading like sunlight, her presence commanding as she clutched a tablet under one arm, her eyes lighting up with that infectious optimism that had drawn him to confide in her about their father Deacon's latest heartache with Sheila. Deke. Perfect timing. Ridge and I just wrapped the review. Your work. Wait, don't tell me you're here to beg for feedback already. She teased, linking her arm through his as they strolled toward the design floor, the click of her heels a metronome to his racing thoughts. Deke chuckled, a low, warm sound that eased the tension in his shoulders, his dark eyes sparkling with mischief. Begging? Nah, sis. I'm here to claim what's mine. But seriously, Dad's been a wreck, Sheila's lies piling up like bad debt. I figured a distraction might help, so, did the mystery portfolio catch your eye?
Hope paused at the elevator, punching the button with a flourish, her expression turning sly as the doors dinged open. Catch our eye? Deke, it blew us away. Those lines, the way you blended sustainable fabrics with that vintage edge, Ridge thinks it's genius. And I knew it was you the second I saw the signature flourish on the hemlines. But experience? You're green. How do we sell this to the board without them crying nepotism? Deke stepped inside beside her, the mirrored walls reflecting their easy camaraderie, his grin widening to delirious proportions as the car ascended smoothly. Green? That's just untapped potential, Hope. I've poured my soul into those designs. Nights sketching till dawn, sourcing eco-threads that no one's touched. Give me a shot, I'll prove I'm not riding coattails. Hell, I'll outwork every veteran in the atelier. The elevator opened to the bustling design floor, bolts of fabric unfurled like colorful banners, seamstresses chattering over whirring machines, and there, amid the creative whirlwind, stood Ridge Forrester himself, arms crossed over his broad chest, his silver fox charm undiminished as he studied a mood board pinned with Deke's submissions. Ridge turned, his piercing gaze softening into approval as he clapped Deke on the shoulder, the impact solid and affirming. "Kid, you've got fire. Hope's been singing your praises since dawn, but seeing you here? It's like watching a spark turn to flame. The job's yours, lead designer on the next drop. But no slacking. This line's our comeback, and you're the wild card we need." Deke's world tilted in that instant, a rush of euphoria flooding his veins like champagne bubbles, his laugh bubbling up unrestrained, deliriously happy as he pumped his fist in the air, drawing amused glances from the team. "Ridge, you just made my year, no, my decade. I swear, I'll deliver something that turns heads from here to Milan. Hope, you in on this madness?" Hope beamed, pulling him into a quick hug, her voice laced with sisterly pride. "Wouldn't miss it. But first, lunch on me, to celebrate the Sharpe invasion of Forrester. And hey, keep Dad in the loop, he could use the win." As they headed toward the executive lounge, Deke's phone buzzed in his pocket, a text from Electra Forrester, the enigmatic young artist he'd met at a gallery opening weeks ago, her words simple. Heard whispers of a new hotshot designer. "Spill." His fingers flew over the keys, the joy infectious. "Guilty. Meet me later? Got stories that'll blow your mind." The city sprawled below through the lounge windows, a glittering promise of futures unfolding, and for Deke, in that sunlit moment, everything aligned, the job, the family, the spark of something new with Electra, like threads weaving into a masterpiece. Back at the hospital, the fallout from Poppy's outburst lingered like a bad aftertaste, the consultation room now empty save for the faint echo of raised voices. Finn lingered in the hallway, his pager silent for once, leaning against the nurse's station as he scrolled through messages from Steffy, her texts filled with travel woes and loving emojis that twisted the knife of his deception deeper. Lee emerged from a supply closet, her arms laden with fresh linens, her face a stoic mask that cracked when she saw him. "Finn, don't look at me like that. I did what I thought was right, for Luna, for Poppy, even for you. That girl's got demons, but burying her alive? That's not who we are." Finn pocketed his phone, his voice weary but edged with unresolved anger. "Right? You decided her fate solely. And Poppy. God, her reaction. Calling Luna that. It's like she wishes she'd never been born. How do we even begin to heal this?" Lee set the linens down, stepping closer, her hand hovering near his arm before dropping away, the gesture heavy with unspoken apologies. "Poppy's always been fire and ice. Burns hot, freezes cold. She resents Luna for mirroring her own wild youth, the mistakes she buried under layers of denial. But alive means a chance, Finn. Therapy, boundaries, maybe even adoption for the baby if Will wants no part." A nurse hurried past, casting curious glances, and Finn lowered his voice, glancing toward Luna's guarded room where Deputy Chief Baker's silhouette loomed outside the door. Will's reeling, assaulted, lied to, now paternity confirmed. And the arrest? Luna's not walking out free. This kid's coming into a war zone. Lee nodded, her eyes distant as memories of their own fractured past surfaced. "I know. But family sticks, Finn. We Nozaws, Finnegans. We're survivors. Poppy will come around, she has to." Just then, Poppy reappeared at the end of the hall, her steps measured now, composure regained like a queen reclaiming her throne, though her eyes still smoldered. "Come around? To what, Lee? Celebrating my failure as a mother? Luna's alive, fine. But don't expect hugs and forgiveness. She's poison, drugged hope, framed Steffy, wormed into Bill's empire like a parasite. And that pregnancy? It's a chain around Will's neck, and Electra's heart's collateral damage." Finn stepped forward, his medic's calm resurfacing. "Electra? The Forrester girl? What's she got to do with this?" Poppy waved a hand dismissively, her rings catching the fluorescent light. "Everything. Luna targeted Will to get at the Spencers, and now Electra's caught in the crossfire, young love shattered before it starts. I won't let my daughter's mess drag more innocence down." Lee's patience snapped, her voice rising. "Your daughter? She's not a weapon, Poppy. You made her feel like one. All those years of neglect, pushing her away. That's why she lashed out. Own it. The argument reignited. Words flying like sparks, accusations of abandonment, countercharges of enabling, until Finn intervened, pulling them apart gently. Enough. This solves nothing. Luna hears the baby's heartbeat tomorrow. Maybe that'll soften someone. But for now, truce. Poppy straightened, smoothing her blouse, her chin lifting defiantly. Truce? For the baby's sake, maybe. But Luna? She gets what's coming, bars or not. As she strode away, heels echoing her resolve, Finn exchanged a weary glance with Lee, the hospital's relentless pulse underscoring the fragility of their bonds. In the sun-drenched executive lounge at Forrester, Deke's celebration unfolded like a scene from one of his own sketches, effortless, vibrant, laced with the thrill of possibility. Hope slid a chilled bottle of sparkling water across the glass table, her laughter light as she recounted Ridge's initial skepticism turning to. He grumbled about family hires for a solid minute, Deke, but your portfolio shut him up. That emerald gown with the asymmetrical drape? It's got runway magic written all over it. Deke leaned back in the plush chair, legs stretched out, his delirious grin refusing to fade, the cityscape beyond the windows a blur of ambition mirroring his own. Magic? Hope it's alchemy, turning scraps of doubt into gold. Dad's gonna flip. He's always on me about steady gigs, but this is the break. His phone lit up again, Electra's reply popping up, intrigued. Il Tramezzino at 7? Where something designed by the new king. Deke's pulse quickened, a flush creeping up his neck as he typed back, the flirtation a welcome counterpoint to the family dramas swirling elsewhere. Hope noticed, arching a brow playfully. Who's the mystery texter? Spill, little bro. Can't have you distracted on day one. Deke pocketed the phone, his eyes twinkling. Electra Forrester, Ridge's niece, artist extraordinaire. Met her at that eco-fashion mixer. She's got this wild energy, sketches that rival mine. But shoo, it's early, Remy's still in the picture sorta, but that's complicated. Hope's expression sobered slightly, stirring her drink with a swizzle stick. Remy Price? The model? Deke, you're juggling fire. And with Luna's chaos hitting the Spencers. Will's a mess from what Bill's saying. Keep it light. Forrester's no place for scandals. Deke nodded, the mention of Luna sobering his high for a beat, memories of Deacon's anguish over Sheila's loyalties to her granddaughter flooding back. Luna. Dad mentioned running into her. Thought she was dead? The world's gone mad. But hey, not my circus. Tonight's about wins, yours, mine, maybe Electra's. Hope raised her glass, clinking it against his. To wins. And to you, Deke Sharpe, the deliriously happy force about to shake up this town. As they toasted, the lounge door swung open, Ridge entering with a blueprint roll under his arm, his booming voice cutting through. Sharpe! Get in here, we've got sketches to refine. Hope for the future waits for no man. Deke sprang up, energy renewed, following Ridge with a spring in his step, the future unfolding in strokes of silk and ambition, a stark contrast to the shadows haunting the hospital miles away. The afternoon sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the hospital parking lot as Poppy sat in her car, engine idling, her hands gripping the steering wheel until her knuckles whitened. The confrontation replayed in her mind like a looped nightmare. Finn's shock, Lee's judgment, the raw truth she'd spat without filter. Little bitch, she muttered to the dashboard, the words tasting bitter now in solitude, regret warring with the deep-seated resentment that had festered for years. Luna's face as a child flashed before her, wide innocence masking the storm to come, and Poppy slammed her palm against the horn, startling a passing orderly. Why couldn't she feel joy? Relief? Instead, this choking fury, this wish that the lie had held. Her phone rang, Lee's name flashing, and Poppy answered on speaker, her voice flat. What now, sister? Come to gloat. Lee's sigh crackled through the line, heavy with exhaustion. No gloating. Just talk. Poppy, Luna's stable. The baby's strong girl, they think. You could visit, see for yourself. Poppy's laugh was sharp, devoid of humor. See? And pretend we're the Waltons? You don't get it. Every time I looked at her, I saw my youth, reckless, ruined by Tom Starr's shadow, choices that trapped us both. I poured everything into you, into Finn, but Luna? She was the reminder I couldn't escape. Alive means facing that mirror again. Silence stretched, then Lee's voice softened, probing gently. And if she changes? Rehab counseling. Will's open to co-parenting if charges stick. It's not too late for you to be more than the villain in her story. Poppy glanced at the hospital looming like a sentinel, her resolve cracking just a fraction. Villain? Maybe I am. But I'll come for the baby. Not her. Tell Finn. I'm sorry for the ugliness. Doesn't fix it, but it's something. Hanging up, she pulled out of the lot, the city swallowing her in its anonymity, the shocking revelation still reverberating, forcing cracks in the armor she'd worn so long. At Forrester, the design session stretched into golden hour. Deke hunched over the drafting table with Ridge, pencils flying as they iterated on his lead concept, a flowing crimson number evoking sunset over the Pacific, sustainable silks whispering against paper. Here, widen the neckline for movement, add those crystal insets for pop. Ridge suggested, his experienced hand guiding without overshadowing, a mentorship Deke soaked up like parched earth. Boss, you're a genius. This line's gonna eclipse HFTF's heyday. Ridge chuckled, clapping his back again. Flattery gets you coffee runs, Sharpe. But yeah, it's got legs. Hope's pitching it to the board tomorrow, you're in the hot seat. Deke's delirious happiness resurfaced, bubbling into a whoop that echoed through the atelier, drawing smiles from the night shift crew. As Ridge departed for a call with Brooke, Deke lingered, pinning fabrics to a mannequin, his mind drifting to Electra. The way her laugh lit rooms, her sketches bold and unapologetic, a mirror to his own drive. Tonight's dinner loomed like a first sketch, full of potential strokes. His phone chimed, Deacon, voice message playing. Son, Hope called damn proud, kid. Sheila's complicated, but this? Light in the dark. Knock them dead. Deke hit reply, voice thick. Thanks, Dad. Means the world. We'll catch up soon, family dinner, no drama. Pocketing it, he gathered his things, stepping into the cooling evening, the job's glow warming him against the encroaching night, a beacon in the soap of lives entwined. Hours later, under the twinkle of Il Tramezzino's string lights, Deke arrived breathless, spotting Electra at a corner table, her auburn curls catching the candle flicker, a sketchpad open before her half-eaten pasta. She looked up, her green eyes sparkling with curiosity. The king arrives. Sit. Tell me everything. And don't skimp on the portfolio drama. Deke slid into the seat, ordering a Negroni with a flourish, his energy magnetic. Electra, you won't believe it. Slipped my designs in blind. Ridge hands me the gig like it's candy. Hope for the future's mine to mold. She leaned in, fork pausing midair, her smile radiant. Deke Sharpe, designer extraordinaire? Knew you had it. Show me. He pulled out his phone, swiping through photos, their heads bending close as she traced lines with a finger. This, ethereal fierce. Like you. The compliment hung, charged, and Deke felt the pull, deliriously happy in the simplicity. Like us maybe. Your abstracts inspired the flow. Dinner first, collab later. Electra's laugh danced, light and inviting. Deal. But spill more, family secrets? I hear Luna's ghost is rattling chains again. Deke's joy dimmed fractionally, the hospital's shadow creeping in. Yeah, alive, apparently. Messy. But tonight? Off limits. To new beginnings. They clinked glasses, the night unfolding in shared dreams and stolen glances. Deke's triumph a salve against the storms brewing elsewhere, the world turning on axes of shock and elation. As midnight approached, Poppy stood outside Luna's room, the door ajar, the soft glow illuminating her daughter's sleeping form, tubes snaking, monitors beeping a lullaby for the life within. Will sat vigil in the corner chair, his face gaunt with conflict, nodding curtly as Poppy entered. Mrs. Nozawa. Didn't expect you. Poppy's voice was steel-wrapped in silk. Poppy. And save the pleasantries. I'm here for her, not you. She approached the bed, staring down at Luna's pale face, the shocking reality crashing anew. No warmth stirred, only a hollow echo of what might have been. You hear that, girl? beating strong. Don't screw this up too. Will shifted, voice low. She's trying. Therapy starts tomorrow. The arrest. It's pending, but the baby's ours to protect. Poppy met his eyes, a flicker of shared burden. Ours? You're braver than I ever was. Lisa's girls, fitting, another firebrand. Silence fell, companionable in its rawness, until Poppy turned to leave. Tell her. I came. That's enough for now. Exiting, she passed Finn in the hall, his nod weary. Progress. She shrugged. Baby steps. Literally. The elevator descended, carrying her into the night, the reaction's shock ebbing into tentative resolve, family threads fraying but not yet snapped. Deke's evening with Electra stretched into stolen hours, walking the boulevard under star-pricked skies, her arm linked in his, sketches traded like secrets. This job, it's freedom, Electra. No more scraping by, watching Dad pour into Il Giardino while I doodle in corners. She squeezed his hand, voice soft. Freedom's scary, but you're ready. And hey, Forrester blood calls to blood. Uncle Ridge sees it. At her door, the goodbye lingered, a brush of lips promising more, Deke floating home on wings of delight, the job's delirium a anchor in chaos. The next dawn broke crisp, hospital routines resuming as Finn briefed Steffy via video, her face pixelated but fierce. Alive? Finn, Hallie lied? And Poppy, that language? We're flying back today. He soothed. Handle with care, love. Deke's news might lighten it. Landed the Forrester gig. Steffy's eyes widened. Deke? My cousin? That's huge. Tell him congrats from the Chaos Queen. Laughter bridged the gap, a momentary balm. Poppy met Lee for coffee in the cafeteria, steam rising like peace offerings. I saw her. Slept like an angel, damn her. Lee sipped, gentle. Angels fall. But you showed. That's the start. Poppy's shocking fury softened, words tumbling. Hates heavily. Maybe counseling for me too. Lee's hand covered hers. I'd go with you. Across town, Deke arrived at Forrester early, atelier alive with his vision taking shape, hope greeting with sketches in hand. Boards buzzing, your crimson's the star. His grin, deliriously wide. Told you. Now let's make magic.